In this first learning unit, we will focus on understanding ethnicity and race. This is a necessary framework to understand inclusive education. So in this presentation, we will explore some of the key concepts which impact on education and the importance of promoting inclusivity and diversity. First of all, we have to find some definitions for ethnicity and race. So, the important thing to understand here is that ethnicity is based on cultural heritage and is defined from a spectrum of shared characteristics for human groups. That is what an ethnic group means. This is a group which shares cultural similarities and encompasses common ancestors, cultural expressions, and shared beliefs, values, norms, behaviors, costumes, etc. Ethnicity is dynamic and contextual. It depends on individuals and groups' identities, and it's permanently negotiated between people. So in educational context, when we confront diversity and multiculturalism, it is important for us to understand that we live in a globalized world where many ethnicities interact and interchange permanently in different social contexts. So ethnic groups have deep historical roots. We find ethnic groups and minorities abroad in a wide range of different expressions. So this is important for us to comprehend. Ethnic groups have lasted for a long time and across different societies. This also interacts through migration and interculturalism. It's important to understand that colonialism and migration have led to cosmopolitan, intertwined societies where diverse ethnicity coexist and interact. And finally, it's important for us as educators to understand intercultural communication, intercultural interactions, because that's crucial for peaceful coexistence and the enrichment of human experience in the world. So this diversity sometimes led to some practices of stratification. It's important to understand that the concepts of race and ethnicity have produced some differences, have produced even inequalities between human groups, because there are always some dominant groups in societies, and as well there are these oppressed or subordinated groups. So when we talk about minorities, we are talking about power dynamics. We have to understand that the term minority does not necessarily refer to numerical representation. It's not just a demographical figure, but it also signifies social hierarchies, power imbalances, and equal access to resources. So race and ethnicity and such categories that are assigned to individuals. Those are ascribed categories, and they are useful for classifying people, for mediating social relationships among individuals in groups. So it's important to understand that race and ethnicity have had long-lasting effect on educational systems a long time. So it is important that education promotes inclusivity in these multicultural or intercultural contexts, because we as educators can generate safe spaces for diversity, help our students thrive, and encourage them to feel on a safe place for apprenticeship. We can help ending segregation, racial segregation, ethnic or minority segregation through affirmative practices, and we can also promote an intersectional focus to comprehend those inequities and differences between socio-cultural groups. There is also this concept of race. Race is a culture based on physical characteristics on which we call the phenotype of people, and we attribute some meanings to the skin color of people, or the eyes color, or the shape of their hair. So this is a complex and contested issue because there is no agreement, there is no scientific agreement around the concept of race, but it has real consequences and impacts for people's lives, for everyday life. So besides this is a problematic concept, there are some theories which back this concept of race and produce some notions that have real effects on educational systems and context. And this led, for example, to segregated schools in the first half of 20th century United States, where they have schools for colored people, schools for black children, and schools for the white wealthy children in the same societies. So this is a challenging notion because we can, for example, debunk scientific racism that has on a scientific basis. It's a socially constructed theory, and we need to combat racism, and education is one of those places where racism has to be abolished and erased, totally erased. So we need to move forward, and this is just possible through inclusive and equitable education. We have to work toward inclusive education, promote inclusive learning environments, ensure equality by addressing those inequities and providing equal opportunities for all students, and fostering inclusion. That means creating a sense of belonging for all students, creating a sense of recognition regardless of their social origins of background. And finally, it's important to have in mind the role of education in shaping inclusive societies. Because first of all, we need to have a critical awareness. We need to be aware that we can create conditions and safe context for students of diversity backgrounds to thrive through education. We can comprehend the historical and social context of oppression and exclusion. We need to practice a culturally responsive teaching through practices that acknowledge and value the diverse backgrounds and experience of students. And we must advocate for policies and practices that promote equity, inclusion, and social justice. And as a conclusion, building a brighter future for all students, a future of equality and understanding and mutual respect and safe coexistence for all, will be only possible if we foster critical awareness, promote inclusivity, and we advocate for equity. We can create educational systems that prepare students for a diverse and interconnected world, and educational systems which work for all. Thank you so much. This is all I wanted to share to you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.